The first our presenter will be Mr. Patrik Wermelinger. He's a head investor and investment promoter of Epsilon Global Enterprise, member of the executive committee. Hi, Mr. Wermelinger. Do you hear me?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, hi to Kiev and hi to everyone around the world.
Yeah, okay. So Mr. Wermelinger will be telling us, he will showing us his presentation. So Mr. Wermelinger, are you ready?
I am ready. Do you see my first slide, right, Switzerland?
Yeah, you could start with the slides. We could start the presentation, I suppose.
Super. Thank you very much, Lara, for that kind introduction. And again, everyone, good morning in Kiev and around the world. Thank you very much for having invited me to this very renowned conference. I'm really honored. Are you all ready to join me for a virtual trip to Switzerland?
I suppose everybody has answered yes.
Sensational, super. So then please join me to that country, which is not so far away from Kiev, which is full of mountains, rivers, and dense industry footprints, beautiful spaces, a lot of nice food, so very great place to live. And it is as well the place where Crypto Valley was born. It is a small town at the end, which was the start of the today Swiss widespread Crypto Valley, where at the time pioneers like Mihai, co-founder of Ethereum, was finding the right location because Zug's authorities were open to this new technology, giving space for new innovations and new business models. That was back in 2014. Today, Switzerland counts over 900 blockchain companies, being from locally ones established, but foreign ones coming into our country, and many multinationals having integrated blockchain technology in their services and products. And this is rapidly growing. It all started in the financial industry, where, for example, Amun, the company which launched its world's first crypto exchange traded products at Swiss stock exchange back in 2018. And Hani Rashwan, his CEO, has evaluated back at the time 28 jurisdictions worldwide and found in Switzerland the right spot to fulfill his mission and ambition. But as well, Wences Casares, CEO from Sapo, was very positively surprised about the go-getting attitude of Switzerland and its regulator back at the time when the industry and the technology was quite in its early stage, and decided as well to set up in Switzerland. Today, blockchain is much broader than in the finance industry. It goes on to the food industry, for example, Nestle, which integrated blockchain for track and tracing functions, but as well in pharmaceutical. We will hear about that in the next presentation as well, Novartis, or in the watch industry for verification applications. So it goes in many, many industries today, and in Switzerland, you will find a dense ecosystem of multinationals also interested in partnering with companies to help them to grow and to innovate in that space. What is the reason that all those companies finally did decide for Switzerland? One of them is for sure that they found the talent they were looking for. Switzerland, which is renowned for its educational system, for its universities, but as well for its research centers at the end, is providing a steady flow of graduate students as well in these technologies which you and your company can then find and build up your business in Switzerland, but then beyond globally and around the world. We have various specialized blockchain, computer life sciences and engineering facilities into those educational hotspots, into research centers, which you can partner with and build your business idea to become reality. Companies tell us that they also select Switzerland because they have already products in place they want now to develop and to scale those products, and Switzerland is the ideal place to test and develop them. First, because you can find pragmatic collaboration with local universities and research partners. Top tech companies, they choose Switzerland especially to also establish this kind of function in our country. Or you select Switzerland because it is a good test market in the middle of Europe. You can test it in this market, and once it works, you can scale and grow within all of Europe. And you have a very high density of multinational headquarters providing partnering opportunities to develop or co-develop your tech products. Research and development is in Switzerland a very high asset because 3% of our GDP goes into research and development. And here you just see a snapshot of the many research entities, Swiss universities, research parks, where you can find cooperation partners from academia to co-develop products and services, not only in blockchain, but in all emerging technologies like AI, robotics, advanced manufacturing, or in the life science industry, in the personalized health environment. Based on this pragmatic collaboration, once you find a good result, we have also a good system that the IP which comes out of a research study at the end stays with you as a company, and you can leverage that IP then afterwards globally. Switzerland knows a very comprehensive patent, trademark, and design protection, as well as exemplary copyright laws. And for many years, we're proud to be on the top of those rankings when it comes to global innovation, because Swiss DNA is really to always find a better solution for companies, the world's questions of tomorrow. And this is an environment which helps you as a company to grow and scale globally. It's really essential that when you look into Switzerland and other countries, of course, that you think value, not only cost. And with this, I want to elaborate a bit on the skilled labor pool you will find in Switzerland. We compare on many fields to other jurisdictions in a productive way, that the average working hour in Switzerland is higher than in other countries. We have less holidays. We love to work, let's say. We had once a vote on having 2 additional weeks of holidays. That was 10 years more back. And Switzerland's population voted, no, we don't want that. We know that it's one of the assets of Switzerland. So less holidays than others and less strike days than other countries. At the end, you get really a great value for the investment into employees in Switzerland, and in comparison to other countries, really low incidental wage costs when you compare that. So have a close look on that, think it as an investment in value, and then you're doing great. We are having as well one word on Switzerland's environment in the tax space. So it's really an efficient cooperation with the tax authorities you will find when you visit our country and set up your company here. The tax authorities are business-minded. They see you as their customers, and they develop together ideas how the profits will be taxed in Switzerland. You have a planning certainty. This is important especially now uncertain times. So based on the business model you plan to set up and based on the profit estimations you will make, Switzerland can give you an idea and a planning certainty how these profits will be taxed in the country. In general, Switzerland knows a very moderate tax climate, a very business-friendly tax climate on the corporate side, but as well on the individual side. And the tax system is very reliable. You can count on a country which, for its tradition, is stable, politically stable and financially stable. And this helps as well today, looking into the future, to count on a stable and already low established tax system as well for the future. So planning security is one of the top assets. We hear from foreign investors setting up in Switzerland that was one of the key drivers to decide for Switzerland. With this here, I deep dive a bit on blockchain, today's topic of the conference, of course. So Switzerland has a tech-neutral approach and a decentralized political system. A bit like blockchain at its base is set up, so very decentralized power to each entity, and this is reflected as well in this year. We integrate those technologies into existing legislation. You have heard earlier as well from Karin an outline on the DLT law and what that means for us in Switzerland, for you as a company. We also have the regulator, so the FINMA supervisory authority. They published guidance on how to deal with ICOs some years ago already, and were the first to introduce that in 2018. Just as 2-3 examples how we address the topic in Switzerland. And if you join me now to review a bit how we did that in the financial industry. So back in 2016, we began to remove barriers to entry for fintech companies. A year later, they introduced the sandbox regime. 1 year later, again, FINMA became the first regulator to the world to publish clear guidelines on ICOs. 2019 granted banking license for 2 Swiss-based banks, which are SIBA and Signum, making them the world's first crypto banks. And 2020 passed the legislative package impacting a dozen financial laws, bringing favorable changes to the blockchain and DLT sector. And after these various arguments why companies told us they appreciate Switzerland and expand and set up, I come to the 6 reasons why blockchain companies should address and should look into Switzerland when it comes to expand or to address global and European markets. And first of it is really brain power in our country, world's best education system, #1, as well in attracting and retaining talent. This is key when you grow your entities abroad, that it's easy, that the location supports you in the growth phase by being an attractive destination as well for talents. If you don't find them in Switzerland, you can recruit them from Europe or from outside of Europe. And the multilingual talent you will find in our country with international experience. Second, you will find legal certainty, not only on the regulatory bodies and legal guidelines, but as well security and certainty in the political and economical framework. And intellectual property is significantly protected. Third, birthplace of Crypto Valley, which started in Zug, the city of Zug, and then have grown over the whole country down to Geneva, to the canton of Ticino in south of Switzerland, but as well up in Basel, Zurich, Schaffhausen, and eastern Switzerland. So today it's really all over the country, and depending on the business needs you have and client proximity you need, you will find the right location. Again, a very short distance to cross our country. Within 2.5 hours, you have crossed it north-south. So it's kind of a bigger city as well in your maybe understanding. So very close distances to everyone. Fourth argument is really our long tradition in protecting privacy, high data security in the stable environment. You will find a collaborative atmosphere. So again, high density of corporate headquarters to collaborate, safe playground for innovation, and as well a financial nexus where you might find investors into your business venture. And our authorities with an open, business-friendly mind to listen to your needs and consult what's best to do, be it from the regulator side early on, but then as well authorities you will find along your way setting and growing in Switzerland and beyond. So really a technology agnostic bottom-up approach of the authorities, an openness, as I said, and the business-friendly environment. This is in a nutshell what I wanted to tell you today about blockchain and how we address the needs of the industry in Switzerland, how we did it in the past, how we do it today, and what will be done in the future. And if you think at the end of this day or a couple of days later, yes, Switzerland is really attractive as a test market or as a base for your European or global business, then we would really like to get in contact with you to know more about your interest and intention, that we can help you on that way, setting up in Switzerland. On the side today is, of course, Olena Gut, head of commercial section at the Embassy of Switzerland, but as well the speakers which have started this session this morning and will come after this presentation, which you can address to how to really landing and launching operations in Switzerland. But that was the helping hand we want to give to you to answer upfront questions about our country and then to connect you with the right organizations and authorities back in Switzerland. And if the 6 reasons you have here can be summarized even in a more single strong picture, then your eyes go to the top left side of this slide where you see the Swiss flag, which has this white plus on a red circle as a summarizing advantage for you and your company, saying come to Switzerland and add value to your company and add value, of course, to Switzerland. With this, I would hand over to some minutes of questions if they did come in, and I'm looking to you, Laura. Maybe you can tell me if there were interesting questions which I could take and try to answer.
No, I suppose the presentation was, but so far we do not have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Wermelinger. It's really exciting, and I hope our viewers have now the overview of Switzerland and Swiss blockchain landscape. Thank you for your performing.
I just congratulate you and everyone to have this physical meeting today and this hybrid event, online and offline. I know there's a lot of work. Congratulations to that, and wish you a very successful conference and a lot of insights to the audience.